Okay, so the second campaign that I played was, I actually played the Sherry Jacob one after that. I gotta say, like, this one I actually liked a lot more. I'll get into why, but part of it is because I really didn't know, there's not much I knew about Sherry, and of course I was intrigued by the concept of Jake Mueller, who is Wesker's son, like what they were gonna do with him. So that all made it interesting right off the bat, but for, like, those of you who don't know, Sherry Birkins is the daughter of a scientist from Resident Evil 2, and he performed all kinds of experiments on her using one of the, I believe this one is the G virus. But basically, as a result, her character has super healing. You find that out later, that so she can take a lot more punishment. And she's become an agent for the government to help escort Jake back to her superior officer. Jake, since he's the son of Wesker, carries an antibody that makes him immune to the new virus, which is the C virus. Basically, they need to get Jake out of there and back to her operatives so they can go and make an antibody. Now, like I said, this one I liked a lot more for various reasons, one of which is it had a lot more varied gameplay, at least that I remember. In this one, there are times, when you're riding on snowmobiles, one of my favorite things that you got to do is there were actual, like, stealth missions in this. Like, through a good chunk of the story, there's this really big collector monster that's, like, trying to capture Jake. There's, like, different scenarios you gotta do with it. Sometimes you're running from it, sometimes you actually have to fight it. But, like, my most memorable one is you're, like, in this cave. Basically has these bugs with him that if you kill one, it'll alert him to your presence, so you kind of have to hide in, like, these little dumpsters, and you can only do it for so many times before he figures out where you are. And it was actually a lot of fun because, like, there's a lot of, like, moments when I was playing with my roommate where we're just like, go, 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 go. It was great because, like, we'd actually we'd take turns trying to, like, clear a path and, like, get the bugs out of the way. And it caused actually a lot of, like, suspense and tension, and it was actually, like, really cool. But then there was another one where, there's a part where you actually do get captured, and you have to navigate your way through this lab, and all of your weapons are gone. I think Sherry gets her stun baton back, because she uses that, but, like, Jake has only his fists to use, and if you get caught, you're just sent to get these endless, like, waves of, like, enemies, and you actually have to use teamwork to help the other person out. Like, at one point, Jake finds a control room, and he can use cameras to watch for Sherry and get codes from the other bad guys so that she can progress throughout the stage. And it's really cool that, like, they mixed up the gameplay for stuff like that. But otherwise their thing was pretty straightforward. Jacob has to get to an agent Simmons so they can make the antibody. Thing is, when Simmons is mentioned, he's mentioned in Chris's campaign, and because I played this out of order, I think I got a better effect of Simmons, because in the Chris mission, he's only mentioned. We don't know what he looks like. We don't see any glimpse of him. So it was pretty much left to the imagination of, like, well, who is Simmons? Well, and then you find out in Sherry's mission that, oh, it's his boss. And, well, then you actually get to see Simmons, and holy crap, how did no one know this guy was evil? Like, my god. This man just, like, reeks of just, like, evil. He has a long white trench coat on. He has the typical mustache goatee. And the most evil things is the bastard wears a bowler tie. Oh, so evil. But he just reeks of just, like, I am evil, why are you trusting me? That's the thing with Resident Evil, is they don't really have the most deep villains out there, and I guess they were trying to recreate the whole, like, cheesy, hammy Albert Wesker kind of, villain, of just, like, the character who wears all black and sunglasses and talks in a silly voice. And, well, Simmons didn't really talk in a silly voice, but they were going for that level, I think, of just like, oh, he's the bad guy. There is no reason why I should doubt this character's motives of that he's evil. But otherwise, theirs was actually pretty good. The final boss fight in that one was also pretty decent, but it introduced a mechanic that I really hated, which was the crawling. Basically, in order to crawl, you had to hold down both the L1 and the R1 at the same time, and then you'd have to release it, but then you had to like release the other one in like a certain rhythm in order to make it work, and it got really annoying. In basically all of these missions, there's usually something chasing you too, so it's not like you have much time to practice, I should say. I did not like this mechanic, and unfortunately for the next campaign, you do that quite a bit. But yeah, theirs ended like pretty lackluster too. Essentially, you know, Sherry has the antivirus and everything kind of goes back to normal, and then Jake just kind of like rides off into the sunset. And they were trying to like play this like thing up that they're kind of like lovers, and yeah, maybe it'll go somewhere, and it was pretty decent. But where I'm going with this is there are still problems that are going on in the story that aren't answered in this one. But in order to do that, I need to explain stuff about the Leon Helena campaign.